I'm going to take you somewhere, but I promise to bring you right back. I lived in the 16th floor in a 20-story building. Crack was rampant in that project. I lived in the B building. There were two. This neighborhood doesn't even exist anymore, and there were gang members everywhere. One was called DGF, Don't Give a F. Can you imagine that? It was a war zone. So living in a war zone at such a young age, you have no choice. Your eyes are wide open to the truth of the world in the United States of America. One night, there was a knock at the door. My mother answered, and I heard crying, so I ran. See, I was the oldest in the house. I wasn't the oldest. I have a brother from a different father. My father didn't want to take care of another man's child. He was 22 years old. He didn't know much. And my mother didn't want my older brother to be mistreated, so he sent him to his father in St. Louis, Missouri. I was in California with my father and my brothers. My mother answered the door. She had the Shroud of Jesus on our door. We lived in a war zone. I heard crying. I'm the oldest. I'm trying to figure out. I thought it was my mother because it was a woman crying at the door. I can't make out the words. I'm little. All I see are legs. I'm looking up at the Shroud of Jesus on our side of the door, and I'm hearing, "Did you hear anything? Did you hear anything?" And my mother is just responding, "No, I did not. I'm so sorry." I don't know what my mama's sorry for, and I don't know what that woman's talking about, but I could hear police radios. I didn't see policemen. Like I said, I was little. All I saw were legs outside the door. But I heard their radio, so I knew police were there. My mother looked at me and said, "Go take your behind back to bed." So I did what she said. I went back to bed. The next morning we wake up. We got to catch the bus outside. All of us in the hood were bused to all white schools at this time. So I'm getting my brothers ready. We go outside to the bus, and I hear one of the bullies that used to bully us. I heard him say, "Hey, you see that? They threw him off the balcony." And I heard him say it, but I couldn't put two and two together. I'm like, what is he talking about? And he said, "Man, they threw him out the balcony." I'm like, man, I don't know what he's talking about. He a bully. He don't know what he's talking about. Because my brother started looking very scared, like he didn't know what was happening either. I said, "Don't listen to him. Go to school. I'm going to see you after school." So we are now being dropped off back at home. Mind you, I live in a war zone, but I'm listening. And I hear a couple of the adults outside, the ones who are drinking bottles out of a brown paper bag, doing some other stuff on the side too, lighters going click, 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 click. I hear them talking among themselves. "Yeah, man, I thought it was clothes coming off the balcony. And then I heard boom." I go upstairs to my house at this point, because you have to take the elevator or the stairs. I told you I lived on the 16th floor. I ain't taking the stairs unless I have to. So we go on the elevator. Then I hear the other adults talking. They got groceries in hand, right? I can't believe that happened to her baby. God almighty, I can't wait to get out of this place. I can't wait to get out of this place. And then another woman you could tell was on that stuff, because like I told you, everybody in this building was on that stuff in the 80s. You didn't know what it was, but later on you knew it was crack. That word still sends chills up my spine. So I go to my room. I'm crying because I think I'm putting two and two together, but I'm not sure. So I run to my mom. I'm like, "Mama," I make sure my little brothers can't hear. I'm thinking I'm so grown. "Mama, what happened?" I'm little. "Mama, what happened?" She said, "Baby, that's nothing for you to worry about." Later on, I found out. I told you the building was a project that was infested with crack cocaine. Everybody was on it. You saw people from church looking different all of a sudden. Damn, Mrs. So-and-so, Mr. So-and-so. Everybody was on this madness. The neighbor across the hall, we lived in 1601. They lived in 1602. What had happened was a drug deal gone bad. They went and looked for their money. They took my neighbor's son and threw him off the balcony. Boom! They never caught who did it. When you grow up in a war zone, the making that is not of your own. The Reagan administration did this to my community. And the irony of it all is the neighborhood doesn't even exist anymore. They tore the buildings down literally, after he got out, they tore our buildings down. My grandmother used to make sure we didn't feel ashamed where we lived. She said, "Don't you feel ashamed where you live?" That used to be for white folks in the 50s. It was by the airport. It was a building that was built for airport workers in San Francisco, California, that then was ignored, sectioned 8, and they packed us in and then threw drugs everywhere. Where little girls like me had to grow up with her eyes wide open to the truth of this world. So when I see oppression and I see and feel the same things happening again, I get PTSD because I've seen this before. And I know when it gets bad for us. I don't know how to do anything but fight. But you know what? The beauty of that is God is real. How easy could it have been for those people to come to 1601 looking for a man that didn't live in my home, throwing my father off a balcony for some drugs that did not exist? You see, this story isn't to tell you about a tragedy per se, but just to show and prove to you that there is a God. I know it's hard to digest God now. It's hard to believe there is one because they keep feeding you with maggots on a plate saying, "Here's God. Eat it." I'm going to use the word Jesus because that's what I grew up on, and this is the time frame in which I'm talking about. Jesus never forced anything down anyone's throat, and he never gave it on a plate full of maggots or lies. It's hard to swallow this, isn't it? But I'm living proof there is a God. Because we survived that. I promised I would bring you back. There is still good in this world. And there is a God. You are loved. You are blessed. And you are never alone. God bless you, humans.